Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Split Decision. We're here reviewing UFC Norfolk, where Davison Figueiredo beat Joseph Benavidez in what was a pretty controversial weekend. He did miss weight, so there was no title eligible for Figueiredo. It was only eligible for Benavidez. But before we get into it, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads that we do in the future. We've got our UFC 248 watch-along coming this weekend. We've got a whole load of Cage Warriors content coming up, so we're going to have a fantastic week ahead for you guys. But we are joined by James and Johnny. What did you guys think of the weekend's fights?
First of all, before I get onto that, Mitch, what an intro.
Thank you.
Beautifully spoken. I thought you were fantastic from the start and throughout. I'm absolutely over the moon for you, Mitch. That was professional as it can most possibly be.
10 out of 10.
Incredible.
Thank you. 10
But yeah, no, in terms of the fights, I was actually at a 21st on Saturday night.
Oh, yes.
And obviously, it's a house party type thing. Then you move on into town. But I didn't go town, Mitch. I didn't go town because there was more important things to do, and that was watching the fights. I really wanted Joseph Benavidez to become world champion, and I think we all did, didn't we? He's one of the greatest fighters, probably in history, not to pick up that belt. His opponent missed weight, which, let's talk about this, Johnny. You have one job as a professional fighter, and that's to make weight. He missed it, unprofessional.
What did we talk? We talked about this in a debate a few weeks ago. About missing weight. I think there should be weight classes. You know how in boxing you have like welterweight, like middleweight. It's a lot of fighters are missing weight recently, and it's having a damaging effect.
Yeah, but at the same time, he signed that contract to say he'd be at a 125-pound division. He didn't say, I can't make 125. I'm not going to fight it. He could fight bantamweight if he really wanted to.
And we will look at the state of the division again. The flyweight,
it's in tatters at the moment.
It's in absolute tatters. So now he's won the fight and he's not the champion.
Yeah, it was kind of talk about, because obviously Cejudo relinquished it, but it wasn't. It was almost relinquished when the fight happened. Now with Figueiredo missing weight, it meant that if Benavidez won, he became champion. He didn't. So is Cejudo still the champion? Is it vacant? It looks like Figueiredo will probably fight at UFC 250 for the vacant belt, which is still vacant. We go again. It looks like it's probably going to be a rematch against Benavidez or Jose Formiga.
Why rematch though?
Because he missed weight, so he can have it again.
No, what do you think with that, James?
I think it was quite a convincing win. At the same time, why do you want to put somebody in a 125 world title shot when they're proven that they're struggling to make the weight?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Yoel Romero, who keeps getting title shots at 185, but hasn't made weight in about 10 years.
Yeah. That's what scares me.
Don't jinx it for Saturday night.
We could have a precedent here where we have two title fights in a row that are missed out because of weight issues, and it's interesting to see what happens. I was on Twitter this morning or last night, and Jared Cannonier's apparently torn his pectoral muscle, so he's out of the line for it. We've got these issues with Darren Till. So if Romero misses weight, there's not really anyone who can just step in.
Stop jinxing it, I've told you. We're doing a watch-along on Saturday. Please.
Breaking news,
no
Tony
injuries.
Khabib.
Romero hit his head against an iron.
Romero could go through war and still turn up at the fight on Saturday.
Yeah, Romero always finds a way to compete somehow. I mean, it's an interesting one for me because I'd like Adesanya to win the fight, but I've not forgiven him for basically murdering Robert Whittaker. So we've got a bit of beef in Israel, but I do actually quite like it.
My biggest concern is that weigh-in on Friday. If he doesn't make 186, it puts in the fight into jeopardy. And if the fight carries on and he beats Israel Adesanya, then we're in the same situation as we are with 125-pound division, where I guess Israel would still be champion, but he's lost his undefeated record. He could be out for 6-7 months because, everyone who fights Romero goes to war and takes half a year out recovering. So what happens to the middleweight division going on?
But in my opinion, it's become a thing now. The weights is like you're on tenterhooks to see if they're going to make weight. So something needs to be done. I'm worried. I'm legitimately worried about Saturday night. Israel and Romero not happening.
I am as an Israel Adesanya fan. I'm scared for him, but so I think he does it.
So I'm glued to the ratings. Like, it shouldn't be like that. You should make the weight, and if you can't make the weight or you keep missing weight, then don't fight or make another weight category. It's just ruining the fights, ruining the events.
Yeah. Sorry, you're going with a massively unfair advantage. Benavidez was fighting a man who wasn't in his own weight class and ended up getting knocked out. Knockouts like that take a massive detrimental effect on your career.
And that headcut from the headbutt.
Absolutely, mate.
The headbutt absolutely it ended that fight.
Yeah, how many more times can Benavidez go to war? I mean, if he gets another title shot, is he still going to be at world level? I mean, Father Time's going to catch up with him.
Well, he's on 34 pro fights now, so, he's getting to that end of the spectrum now where he's struggling. And it's up to what Dana White does now, because obviously we haven't got a champion. You could very much see in the next month or two the flyweight division disappear.
Yeah, and I don't like that because I like there to be an opportunity for the smaller men, and it's produced talents, like Demetrius Johnson, Joseph Benavidez, Henry Cejudo, etc.
I think now where we got multiple organisations, it could be a good thing because obviously you got ONE FC with I think it's sort of flyweight, but they don't do any weight cutting, so it's effectively 135-pound division with Demetrius Johnson as champion. So you could see him go over there. PFL on the rise now. You could do a flyweight division, flyweight tournament. That'd be interesting to watch with Formiga, Figueiredo, Benavidez, Tim Elliott, of course. You got some upcomers as well, and obviously you got Bellator as well that are very good. And I think they've got a flyweight division. So, you know, you could see them all spread out and probably become bigger stars out of it.
Big question for you, Johnny. Obviously, it's fantastic to win the UFC belt. It cements you as one of the great champions. But Joseph Benavidez, he's married to Megan O'Leary. Has he just already won? Has he just nailed life already? Does he need anything
Forget
more?
the belt.
If he won the belt, isn't it like you've got too much there?
It's not bad, is it?
I mean, he's got a decent little setup, so I think he should be all right, Joseph.
But for me, it's the whole... I think the first time I came on MMA Latest, we talked about the flyweight division, and it's just...
It seems to be a talking point at the moment.
It's a mess.
It never stops.
Mitch, let me continue. Dana White came out, I think it was 2 years ago, and he said it's going to be obliterated.
I think so.
He's actually come out and said that. Yet 2 years or a year down the line, we're having title fights, not title fights, people moving up, people moving down. Like, what? It's just not normal. You never see it in boxing. Like, I don't understand what's going on with it. It's confusing for the fans, and it doesn't...
It's hard to...
Go on.
Sorry to interrupt you again.
It's hard
to build a star. It's hard to build a star when you've got chopping and changing every 3 to 6 months.
Correct. So where we... I mean, my favourite saying... Do we salt the popcorn when we have a flyweight title fight?
I mean, I've never salted my popcorn over a flyweight fight. I've got to be completely honest with you. And now we have actually got an opportunity to get rid of it. I mean, when Dana White said he wanted to get rid of the flyweight division a couple of years ago, I was like, well, why? I know DJ's not the most entertaining champion, but you can stick him as a co-main event. When Henry Cejudo won the championship, I was like, he can be a co-main event. If he gets the right fight, potentially a main event. But now, though, with no champion and no potential stars in the division, Mitch, is there grounds to get rid of it? Personally, I'd like to keep it around just for the little guys, but what do you think?
Well, you've got to say, there's like, you know, there's 20, 25 jobs on the line here. You know, these fighters have got to get a paycheck, and it's difficult to see on as an employee's aspect. I'd want to see them kept just so that they can have their fights and they can build a division. But it doesn't draw many eyes. We've lost its two most prized aspects in terms of Demetrius Johnson and Cejudo. TJ Dillashaw came down. He could have been a good star, but he got popped through EPO and lost the fight, of course. So there's no stars within that division. There's a couple of veterans. There's a couple of good names where, you know, they're kind of MMA household names. They're not household names within like a Conor McGregor or Khabib or etc. But it's so difficult. I think probably 12 months from now we see no flyweight division.
Absolutely, I think that's looking very likely. And Johnny, I know you wanted to talk about this before. Of course, Deontay Wilder's gone absolutely massive with the excuses. I think we talked about that suit that he blamed last week, you know, the 40-pound one, which is basically equivalent.
And he trains with a weighted vest on.
Oh, mental, innit, mate? His excuse is falling apart. It's like the equivalent of giving a 3-year-old a piggyback to the ring and claiming it's the reason you lost. But he's released a video in his hoodie, just going on and on and on about people don't know what they're doing. People don't go to war like he does. For me, just massively delusional. Can't accept the fact that he's been beat, and he'll never improve unless he can look at how he was beat and how he can improve.
That's the thing. I mean, the video was just embarrassing. I mean, what was calling himself a king and this and that? Listen, mate, look at your record. You fought 55 bums or whatever it is. You have. And you fought 4 legitimate good fighters. And Tyson Fury twice, you've lost every single round in every fight, and that's including the knockdowns. And you're coming out, and I know you've got to sell the fight, but be humble. Anthony Joshua got a load of stick against Ruiz. He came out, didn't make one excuse, and we all know there were excuses coming into that fight. Wilder got absolutely obliterated, and he's coming out with this nonsense. I'm a king. We go to war. No, mate, you lost every single minute of every second of every round in both fights. We don't want to see it again. Rebuild, go and knock out someone else, a legitimate fighter. Go and fight Ruiz Jr. Dylan White would absolutely maul you. I said that for a long time. Dylan White mauls Deontay Wilder. I don't want to see Fury Wilder 3. We'll have to see it again. Will I watch it? Yes.
Yeah, I probably will too. And I'll tell you what, even though Fury absolutely dismantled him last time around, you'll always be on the edge of your seat because of that right hand.
Just it.
Yeah. What do you think, Mitch?
You know what? It's interesting. I don't really want to see the trilogy. It's almost like to bring it to MMA. It's the John Jones DC thing. John Jones has won twice, although, you know, was it the second one he got caught with the steroids? You've seen it twice, but there's always that. What if DC takes him down? What if he does this? And, you know, if it's at heavyweight. But to take it to Tyson Fury, Wilder 3, you know, you're right. He's lost every single round so far. He's knocked him down twice. you know, you got a draw, you got a win. There's nothing really that Wilder can hang on to say, I deserve the trilogy fight. But coming in as the champion, it was in his contract. He's got the right to act upon that contract.
I mean, the suit thing, James. I mean, that's just. Do
you reckon he comes out in a suit in the third one?
I think Tyson Fury will come out in a suit that literally has a 40-pound weight just hanging off it, because that's the sort of mind games he plays.
But I know they've had to come out with something. If it wasn't the suit, they would have said he would have had an injury in training. The promoters have to.
That would have been the easier route to go for.
Exactly.
That's the more humble route.
But at the end of the day, he's got the best promoters, because someone of his ability shouldn't be where he is. He shouldn't. He's got knockout power, but he shouldn't be where he is. And his promoters seem to be getting him at the top every single time. And to go on about the suit is it's embarrassing. I mean, just come out and say you got beat, clearly. What is that suit? Why would it have any impact on you getting in the ring? I don't understand. Did it stop you moving your head? Did it stop you throwing a jab? What was the reason for it?
Well, obviously, he's blaming it on it being the reason that his legs weren't there. I can tell you why his legs weren't there, because Fury absolutely smashed him and wobbled his equilibrium, and he couldn't stand up.
Correct.
That's why his legs weren't there. But let's talk about the heavyweight division in a little bit more depth. Anthony Joshua, Kubrat Pulev officially confirmed yesterday, June the 20th, Tottenham Hotspur. And I've seen a bit of criticism for Anthony Joshua for fans who don't know who Kubrat Pulev is. But this man is a top 10 operator. He's only got one loss on the record to Vladimir Klitschko. He was a fantastic amateur. He has good wins over Hughie Fury and Derek Chisora. Realistically, in the top 10, there's probably not a better fight for Anthony Joshua. I'm quite looking forward to this one.
It's a banana skin, and people are getting it twisted. He has to fight him.
There's no mandatory.
Ifs, buts. Yeah,
you have to do mandatory.
There's no if buts or maybes. It's not like he's plucked him out of thin air. He has to fight this guy, and it's a banana skin for Joshua. Don't sleep on Pulev. He's a dangerous man.
Fighter.
Tough, stocky.
No, we can't go through what we had this year, gone with Ruiz losing or Ruiz winning, taking the title. We have these three: Wilder, Fury, and Joshua. We just need to make sure by December one of those fights happen with Joshua Wilder or Joshua Fury.
Providing they both win, Fury and AJ, then it has to happen next.
1,000,000%. And Kubrat Pulev, an extremely controversial operator, actually. Yeah. Do anyone remember the sexual harassment case he had last year?
Oh, that was ridiculous.
This isn't allegedly. He kissed an interviewer during the interview.
I saw that video.
But let me tell you something. Did you see the footage of the interviewer like basically dancing on him and
yes, I have seen it. Was the whole thing was weird.
That was just ridiculous. I mean, come on.
It was everywhere though at the time. But I mean, he's a renowned playboy out in Bulgaria. Like, he's the Max Branning of Bulgaria, essentially.
Of Bulgaria.
But
I still don't know how Max Branning gets the girls he gets.
Oh, Max Branning's absolutely incredible. Lucy Beale, Stacey Slater. He has gone through the whole square.
Who else has he gone? Stacey, he had Tanya's sister,
Mandy. He's just absolutely incredible. Max Branning's like my hero.
What's the secret, Max Branning?
Well, Max Branning, a good fighter. Like, you had the Branning family.
He's been banged out a few times.
Potentially, he does with Spencer Oliver.
Yeah,
but
pound for pound, he's good.
I might be a little bit controversial here. Are the Brannings an even harder family than the Mitchells?
No,
no way.
Derek Branning was a bit of a tough nut.
Derek Branning, and so was Jack Branning.
Jack Branning, he's an ex-copper, not a copper. I don't understand.
We're a tough family, Mitch. They both look good in the octagon. I think Derek could do a decent.
Derek Branning and Phil Mitchell would be a good.
Phil walks all over Derek.
Phil and Derek have had some tear-ups. There's some hard men on the square.
But anyway, back to the weekend's action. Away from the soaps, we had a couple of featherweights on the card in Felicia Spencer and Megan Anderson. Both had very good wins. You know, Megan Anderson beat Norma Dumont. We had Sarah then get demolished by Felicia Spencer. Now, one of these are looking to have a featherweight title challenge. Now, it's come out that Amanda Nunes is looking to defend at UFC 250 in Sao Paulo. The featherweight division is back. You know, we've had our champ. She's looking to get her first defense in, a year and a half?
Yeah. Of those two names, I would probably rather see Megan Anderson. I think she's the more marketable of the two.
The only thing that goes against that is that Felicia Spencer absolutely dominated her inside 60 seconds back at UFC 2 a couple of years ago. It was a UFC debut. Now, I thought at the weekend Megan Anderson actually came out and had the better octagon interview. She set it up more. Felicia Spencer almost came out and said, "Yeah, give me. If I deserve it, I deserve it. If I don't, I don't." So Megan Anderson she had some salt to the fight, and it was almost like, okay, you probably deserve it based on that octagon interview, despite your performances probably not evaluating towards a title shot at the moment.
Yeah, and as we said last week with Demetrius Johnson, the reason why he didn't captivate people is because he didn't sell fights. Felicia Spencer isn't selling fights. Megan Anderson is selling fights.
She's got a good sort of
she's a good
mic presence.
She's a type. Let's be honest.
She's a sword.
If you're into like the whole tattoo model type thing, then Megan Anderson is your woman.
Yeah.
Mitch told me before the show that Megan Anderson's his dream woman.
I did not say that.
Mitch had a bit of an interesting weekend, didn't he? He was at an 18-year-old.
He was at a house party at the weekend, Mitch. He's had a bit of a good run, I believe. So congratulations to Mitch. But you know what? He went home and he watched the UFC, and that's what a rightful man
had to stay on brand.
Yeah, well, he has to. I mean, Mitch has the opportunity of pursuing women or watching the fights, and he picks the fights.
No, he's a trooper.
I have nothing but respect for Mitchell Ivey. Nothing but respect.
Me and Mitchell, let's talk about Saturday and Sunday's plans that we've all got going on, because it's a fucking heavy load, to be fair. So Saturday night, me and Mitchell at Cage Warriors Manchester Boulders Exhibition Centre. Promises to be a fantastic night. Jack Cartwright headlining, SBG boys, a lot of them are stacking the card. George Smith, Martin Stapleton, Adam Proctor. It's going to be a fucking phenomenal night. Me and Mitchell will be there. That night, me and my good man here, James, will be watching Romario Adesanya. We're doing a 3-hour watch along. I'm going to bring a bottle of whiskey that you've never seen the size of, and it's going to be placed here. Providing my car's getting MOT, so if I get it back, it will be here. But it's a massive bottle of whiskey, so I'm looking forward to dipping into that.
I believe you're losing your watch-along virginity, so excited. They're big ones, the watch-alongs. You know, me and Mitch have done them together. We did the Nate Diaz Jorge Masvidal fight.
You don't have a good record when it comes to
horrific. The fighters I support lose on watch-alongs.
So can you support Romero this weekend, please?
I will be supporting Israel Adesanya, I think.
Don't you dare.
I mean, part of me would like to see Yoel become a world champion, but I'll be supporting...
If he makes weight.
Yeah, I'll be supporting Izzy on the night, I think. Yeah, despite what he did to my buddy, Robert Whittaker.
I think he's probably my favourite fighter at the moment, Izzy.
Outside of McGregor, Mitch, is he the biggest star in the sport?
Masvidal.
You think
him, Masvidal, and Conor.
You say
Israel Adesanya. He's captivated the audience like no one else, and he's probably...
He's bigger than Masvidal, I think.
No, I don't think so. I think Masvidal had such a good year, but I think for Oceania, he's definitely spearheading a path for MMA.
I think he's the poster boy now, Adesanya, and I think Masvidal is one of them. He's a fighter's fighter. If you go on the street, you know who Masvidal is. Even after that knockout, don't get me wrong. His
do you think he needs to beat Usman then?
He has to beat McGregor. It's like anything. Nate Diaz. He's a fighter's fighter. Nick and Nate, they're like cult figures. But if you ask the man on the street, have you heard of them? No. After the McGregor fight, everyone knew who McGregor hit. So Masvidal, I fucking love that dude, and he needs someone like a McGregor to really get mainstream.
I think he's already made it. I think
I disagree.
That little clip of him
killing
sending Askren to heaven.
Don't get me wrong, that was
done that with a little smile on your face, because you know you've just said that and broken my heart.
Yeah.
But fine, whatever. I want to make a quick point, and this may, if we want to argue that Masvidal's a superstar or not, I think the Nate Diaz win would have helped him along in that journey.
If they hadn't been a doctor stoppage, it would have
absolutely. And then when Canelo Alvarez was fighting Sergey Kovalev, I believe, in Vegas, Masvidal was fighting Nate Diaz in New York, and they stopped the whole event and played Masvidal versus Diaz on the big screen at a Canelo fight. That's the biggest star in world boxing.
You don't get that the other way around, do you? Can you imagine Dana White being like, yeah, we'll just stop a fight for Joshua Fury?
Exactly. Yeah. It was a big deal out there.
Yeah, well, it was a big deal, don't get me wrong, and his profile has gone like that. But I'm talking superstars. The superstar then is mega stars. I think you have to fight a McGregor to get that notoriety. Excuse the pun, but...
Yeah, but I know you want to talk about one of the controversial stoppages over the weekend, so what was your view on that?
It was Ion CUTELABA versus Magomed Ankalaev. Now, it was a very, very ferocious start. CUTELABA came across the octagon as they were doing, as Bruce Buffer was making the announcements, and he actually pushed Ankalaev. Security had to get involved, and then it was a weird start. He was playing possum a bit, looking dangerous, and the referee came in and stopped the fight, and CUTELABA was very angry that it'd been stopped. But if you're going to play possum, expect to be on the wrong end of the decision.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the stoppage was a bit premature. I mean, we've talked in depth, Johnny, about how you need a brave fighter, not a brave corner. And for example, a fighter like Deontay Wilder, who was getting back to that extent, it needed to be finished. But in this case, I mean, it's still combat sports. He wasn't hurt too badly.
No, but if you're wobbling around like that, perception is key there, and the way it's been perceived.
It wasn't like he was about to go.
No, but
like wake me up before you go.
But to be fair,
but I mean,
it's a fine line.
Yeah, you'd rather that than watch him get sprawled out on the canvas and take 20 hits unnoticed. So the referee's only doing his job there, and I don't really see why he's getting so much heat. I think it's on CUTELABA. You know, he said it's part of the game plan to draw ankle in and really sort of counter that. But I think it's just a stupid game plan there.
For me, though, in this occasion, you've got to give the lad a chance. I mean, there's a reason people are now calling it one of the worst stoppages in UFC history.
It is a bad stoppage.
He wasn't badly.
But he hasn't helped himself there either.
Probably hasn't helped himself, and he shouldn't be playing POSSUM. We've seen POSSUM work in the past.
Anderson Silva did it.
Exactly.
Wilder, Weidman.
I mean, that would be a fight. But actually makes Silva, well, probably quite a clear favourite there in the cage, but despite the size disadvantage. But no, I think in fights you need to give people every single chance. I mean, when you're going into war, there is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right, and yes, it was a weird stoppage, and I hope they run it back.
Absolutely, and something we previewed last week, which I want to talk a little bit about. As I said, 21st, had to go on because my little baby from Managua, Nicaragua, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, now a 5-time champion of the world, a 4-weight world champion. We discussed last week, look, we both know he's a dynamite fighter, but we thought he might be a little bit too small, he might be a little bit past it, but he absolutely dismantled Cal Yafai, rolled back the ears. Incredible, isn't he?
Big mistake by Yafai. Their team have thought they've gambled sort of to get a big name, to get his name known in America, ex-world champion, one of the biggest stars in boxing. Not the most well-known stars, but still one of the biggest with his record, Chocolatito. And he came up short, didn't he? Couldn't believe it. He rolled back the ears,
I absolutely adore Chocolatito. I just absolutely love him.
Believe it.
He's fantastic. And at the age of 32, when you're I mean, obviously the heavyweights get to go a little bit longer, but when you're that small, you age very quickly. The fact that his precision in his punches is so incredible. The angles he comes in at, he's just incredible. And I think he's one of the greatest to ever lace up the gloves. And he won't get the credit because of his size, but he's truly a great, isn't he?
It's another case of the size, though. If it's UFC and boxing, it's always a case the little men will never get the publicity as the big men. But we're going on about how to get rid of the flyweight division in the UFC. Well, boxing doesn't do that. Exactly. So why do it in the UFC? It just doesn't make sense. You have, they're not going to be headline cards, but you can put them on as a third fight, the second fight. And when you're a fighter, if you're a small fighter, where do you go? If there's no UFC flyweight division, you have to go in other organisations, then you have to fight bigger men. It's just unequal for me, and it all
yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, with that flyweight, I would like to see PFL start a flyweight tournament and then really just pick up that talent. But it depends on contract, negotiations, etc., and what can be done with the UFC.
Well, the UFC can market anyone, right? So come on, do your jobs. Market the flyweight division.
It's true, but they don't have many personalities. Henry Cejudo actually brought his personality out very well against TJ Dillashaw, and I wish it almost stayed at flyweight because he actually brought some flavour to it, which it had been missing for so long now. Demetrius Johnson he become the John Jones of that division where he was so ferocious and dominant, And we're missing out on stars, but there's no one really in there that I'm going to go, oh, I want to see him win.
Yeah, but so someone's missing a trick. Either these fighters need new managers or promoters, or the UFC aren't doing a job as promoting these fighters. It's not hard to promote fighters. It really isn't. No. It's an easy job to do, especially if you're in the UFC and you've got eyeballs on you. Promote the fighters properly. If you do Eddie Hearn's a master of it. Eddie Hearn promotes his fighters the right way.
Eddie Hearn's probably one of the best in the game.
He's the best in the game because you know why Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in the game? Because he gets it. He understands controversy.
And he cares. He actually cares.
He cares, but he knows what sells. Sexy things sell. Tables being thrown. How many times has Eddie Hearn been sat at a press conference, a table's launched past his eyes? Used to. He doesn't even flinch now. But he's sat in there thinking, I fucking want more of this. Yeah. He knows that sells. And the UFC have to do that more. Now, I'm not saying go in and attack people. Well, I am, but I'm not saying it. But it depends on the fighter. Like, if you're not a Conor McGregor type, then it'll be hard to market you in that way. But someone like DJ could have been marketed like as an Anderson Silva with John Jones.
He was getting there with that flying armbar. He was picking up. He had some highlight reels about him, but he didn't exactly. It's weird because his personality
he's a cool dude.
Seems to be very cool. He's a gamer.
You slated him last week, and he looked at our Instagram. Sorry, mate. He looked at my Instagram story.
Yeah, he sent me a private message, Demetrius Johnson. So we're getting it on to one championship, and I'm looking forward to it. Training's going well, and I will be taking on.
Nothing but love, DJ. We do love Demetrius.
One thing about Eddie Hearn that I don't want to bring up is the Zona launching their global app on May 2nd, 2020. So that's going to change the game in the UK. What do we think of that?
Massive, because they're saying it's going to be to launch it. Be Canelo against Billy Joe. Or Callum Smith. Now, it is a game changer looking at Premier League rights as well. I know we're going on about the weekend, the Cage Warriors and the watch along. We're going to the Derby as well.
Yeah, we've got some good content coming up at the weekend.
Yeah, content, Manchester Derby. Me and Mitchell will be there flying the flag for United. Come on, United.
Check out Straight Off the Paddock for that watch along.
Are you a United fan, Mitch?
I am indeed.
Yeah, were you always that, or was that when you moved to Manchester?
Always that.
You're always a United fan.
Not a plastic fan.
So with Joshua supporting Pulov at Tottenham, you're not going to be there?
No, probably not.
Probably not. Not for you.
Not the boxing, anyway.
But either way, though, I think this is huge for DAZN. How do you feel about the whole streaming service thing? Because I feel like I live in the past a little bit. I never like stream anything. I like to watch. I like my channels. I like it simple.
Yep. I do. I don't want like the signal going off or the TV going off.
Exactly. Even when there are a few Premier League games on Amazon Prime, I'm not happy with it. But I want Sky. I want BT.
But to be fair, do you watch Netflix?
I do, yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's when. So I think you're talking of illegal boxes that allegedly you may have and watch illegal streams. That
Allegedly,
you're not allowed to do. Allegedly, you're not allowed to do that. So
allegedly, not allowed.
But if you have something that's legit like Netflix, it flows. So I can understand them. They're trying to bring in a Netflix style with football, with boxing. Yeah. The Zone are trying to look at to buy the rights, and you can't argue.
Are they getting the Champions League, aren't they? I think in a couple of years. Because all the contracts run out.
They want the
2021. I think.
I don't know if they're getting the Champions League, but you can't argue for £10. I think in England
it's £4.99.
£4.99.
That's ridiculous. When I think Joshua Pulev is £25 by itself on Sky
Derek
Sports.
Chisora was fighting Alexander Usyk. That's going to be like £20 pay-per-view.
Yeah,
where you can pay.
I don't like the fight anyway, Johnny. Sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, Alexander Usyk for me is going to be levels and levels and levels above Derek Chisora.
Yeah, but you'll watch it, but the fact that is that a pay-per-view? It's a pay-per-view with the card stacked. Will the card be stacked? I don't know. It's not a pay-per-view fight, but the Zone coming in
and you get
for £4.
You get the biggest fight names in the game. You've got Canelo, Triple G, and Logan Paul.
God, don't get me started on Logan Paul. Please don't get me started on that. You've heard what I said about Anderson Gibb. Logan Paul as well, he's another one I'd fuck up. So please don't get me started with that.
Logan, you've got a challenge. I know he's looking for another, so if DAZN feel free to offer you a bit of dollar.
I would do it for free. I'd do it for free.
Who do you fancy in that? How do you see Johnny versus Logan going, Mitch? Break it down for me.
Is this boxing or MMA?
It's boxing, yeah.
It depends which Logan. If he sneezes 3 times, then obviously it's a lose.
The Logan from the KSI fight turns up to fight Johnny. Johnny's done a 6-week camp. He's gone up to Big Bear.
See, I've not seen Johnny train.
He's not seen me train.
I'll be biased.
So he'd be biased. He's not seen me train.
It would be unfair.
He's not me. If you see me train and Logan Paul train, you'd see him a better boxer. But he's extremely fit. I don't know what.
He's selling the tickets for sure.
He's an athlete. Don't get me wrong. I am not an athlete by any means.
See, MMA,
I like my chocolate.
It'd be Logan
MMA, he'd kill me because he'd take me down from a wrestling background. He would take me down. He'd kill me in an MMA fight unless I knocked him out on the feet. But in a boxing match, I am a better boxer. I don't care what anyone says. I am. Anyone who disagrees with me, watch me box. Now, I'm not a professional. I'm not comparing myself to Billy Joe. I'm comparing myself to YouTubers. Do you know what I mean? And I'm better than these YouTubers. I am. So I'm not blowing my own trumpet. That's just a fact. And I'd beat them all in the boxing match.
And I think that's the perfect place to leave that, isn't it? I think.
Mitch, I couldn't think of a better place. I could have scripted a better place.
Definitely. And so, yes, we're going to end that there. We have got a load of UFC 238 content, Cage Warriors Manchester content coming up. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop it a like, follow us on all socials, MMA Latest on Twitter and Instagram. And we will see you for a tap out this week. We've got a tap out pay-per-view weekend and, of course, the preview on Friday as well. So check it out. Thank you guys for watching.